Hi, I'm Rabbi Popko. Thank you so much for joining me here today. The topic we're going to discuss today is a topic of interest. It's the topic of lending money and interest in Jewish law and what the permissible ways and what the prohibited ways of lending with interest are. So we'll start off where it all begins, which is in the pasuk, in the verse in the Bible. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 20. The Torah tells us, you shall not give interest to your brother, whether it be interest on money, interest on food, or interest on any other item for which interest is normally taken. So the verse clearly says that you cannot give interest. You can't pay interest to someone for a loan. It's important to note that even though the prohibition seems to say only that you're not allowed to give interest, the rabbis say that this prohibition goes both ways. On the one hand, you're not allowed to give interest, but also there's also a biblical prohibition on taking interest. So the prohibition goes both ways. You're not allowed to give interest, and you're not allowed to take interest, both midoraita it's a biblical prohibition. Another important thing to note in this verse is that it says that you're not allowed to take interest on any item on which interest is taken, which means it doesn't include only money. Even if a person is lending someone a bottle of water or a bag of potato chips, they cannot take interest on that, which means that they can't ask for more on those types of items. A place that this comes up often is the topic of gas tanks. When you lend your friend your car and you give them a half a tank, and they give you back a full tank in return for that gas, that can be an issue, and we're going to get back to that in a moment. So that was verse 20. Let's take a look at the next verse. You may, however, give interest to a Gentile, but to your brother you shall not give interest, in order that the Lord your God shall bless you in every one of your endeavors on the land which you are coming to possess. So the prohibition of interest is, as indicated by the verse in the Bible, from Jew to Jew, but not from Gentile to Jew. This has two sides to it. It has, it on the one hand means that a Jew is allowed to lend money to a non-Jew in interest. However, it also means, the flip side of that is that a non-Jew is allowed to lend money to a Jew in interest, an opportunity that another Jew doesn't have. So that's kind of, it has its pluses and minuses. On the one hand, it means that a Jew is not allowed to make money from lending interest to another Jew, but he is allowed to do so from lending money to a non-Jew. But it also means that a non-Jew is able to loan money to Jews with interest, while Jews are not allowed to lend money to each other and make money lending to each other with interest. So that's the introduction to this idea. So now it's important to note that there's a difference in Hebrew between two important words. One word is halva'ah, which means a loan, but another one is she'elah, which also means to borrow something, and those two words define the laws of lending and interest, and I'll explain. When you lend someone money, you don't expect back those exact same dollar bills that you gave. You expect back the amount. However, when you lend a friend a pen or a chair or your laptop, you do expect the same item back. That distinction between items that you want the precise item that you gave to be returned to you and something that you don't want the exact same thing, rather the value, that distinction is what makes the distinction between items that you can take interest for and items that you can't. Something that you don't want back the exact item, that's something that you cannot lend an interest. However, something that you do want exactly the same one back, that you can charge money for, because that's not really interest, that's rental. So for example, if you give your friend your laptop and say, I want you to give it back to me with $20, that's totally okay. But if you give them $100 and you say, I want back $120, that's absolutely prohibited. A really nice example that illustrates this difference is when you give away a car. When you have someone borrow your car, you want your car back, right? You want the exact same car back. However, you don't want the exact same gas back. So you're allowed to ask for money in return for your car, but you're not allowed to ask for anything extra in return for using your gas. So when a friend takes a car from you with a half a tank and gives it back with a full tank, it's important to clarify that the full tank that's being returned is not in return to the gas that was given to them, but rather it's in return for the car, because the object is something that can be charged for, and you can get back some more for that. That brings us to the end of this first section of the laws of ribbit, of interest. Please bear with us for the next one. Thank you.